Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Talk to Rami. Today, I decided to sit down and talk to a great friend, and we were chatting off camera. And I had a podcast scheduled already for somebody else, but didn't work out. He was busy, and I just turned to him. I said, "Do you want to chat? Do you want to have a talk?" And he said, "Sure." And here you go. Mehrshad Afshar is in the studio. He's a real estate guy, entrepreneur, great guy. But as I always say, if you like this podcast, if you learn something from it, or you listen to it and you get motivated and encouraged, please share it, like it, and let me know if you have any question, because without your question, I can't have a talk show. Here you go. Mehrshad, welcome to the show.
What's going on? How's it going?
I am doing fabulous. How about you? How is your day?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
As in the past few weeks, we've started again with each other, going to the gym.
Yep.
And yeah, man, I think it kind of like sometimes things don't work out like the way it's supposed to. So I'm excited for this one.
Oh, that's good. We were talking off camera that, we should do this. And because we talk off camera a lot about life, about business and everything else. And I said, here you go. This is a good opportunity for us to chat. But you are, like me, an immigrant from Iran. We call it Persia. We're Persian. Meow. But what is your story? Tell our listeners and viewers, how did you end up in the United States?
Well, unlike the other crazy stories on my journey, mine was kind of like a surprise too. When my parents first said, "Let's go to America," I barely knew what America was. Like, I was so young, I didn't understand the concepts of like different countries and stuff. So we came over here for the first time in 2010, and that was around my high school time. I had visited before, but we migrated 2010 with a family until 2014. That was when I graduated high school. Family moved back, so I moved back, stayed in Iran for another 4 years, and then came back here by myself 2018 and started the journey by myself.
How did you like it so far?
America?
Yes.
It's land of opportunities, and I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot. Kind of seems like it was my destiny to be in this land. So, I'm keeping at it, coming here.
Like you, I immigrated to United States like almost 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's different. My time was much different than yours.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have a technology. We didn't have a lot of stuff that we do have right now. But what is a different? Culture-wise, I know it's a big difference between Middle East and United States. But what is the difference as far as the opportunities and everything else? Because as you said, United States is a land of opportunity, which is, I believe that. You can do anything you want here. Don't break the law, guys. But you can dream of everything. You can achieve anything you want. But this is my philosophy. It doesn't matter where you are. It all goes back to you if you want to do it. You agree?
Sure, 100%.
What made you to do the stuff that you're doing today? Did you take advantage of opportunities here? You didn't have it back home. What happened? What changed you? Now, what is your perspective? About United States.
So,
because a lot of people, they want to come here.
Yeah.
And it would be good for them. It's very educational. What we have, what we don't have. Right. And we're going to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, land of opportunities, right? Compared to Iran, well, there are opportunities all around the world, as you mentioned, and it takes the person to see them, right? So I think what I've the biggest difference over here is as far as like capital. Like there's just so much money flowing, which different people have their different opinions about it. But mostly when you're from a third world country, and a country that is like business is not as good, you usually see that in America. It's like, oh my God, all this money is over there, all the opportunities like cars, houses, fun, all that good stuff. That's like the flashy stuff that you see, right? On the other end, something that I wasn't expecting to discover when I did is as far as like how aware and conscious people are here. You find a lot of that here, which like compared to home, we don't really see it. Like in Iran, the majority of the people are, if you wanted to like just use the caste system, they're like on the lower side of the system, and they're just doers, and they're just workers, and they're just what I call them the victims of their outer circumstances, and they don't have choice. But the biggest difference here in America is, even though we have victims and we have players and we have big entrepreneurs, the choice exists for everybody, because it's the land of the free. You can go and actually, like someone like me coming over here, and everything is available: books, podcasts, internet. There's not much limitation. Like back in Iran, everything is limited, censored, and so it's just a totally different experience. And it's kind of like hard to explain it to some people that haven't experienced it, what the difference is. That's why you see a lot of like immigrants take advantage of the opportunity, because they understand the contrast. But for majority of the American people, that they just were born into it, they're not really taking care of the advantage because they can't see the difference. So
Basically, what you're telling me, if you are born into it for what you have, you don't appreciate.
Yeah, you take it for granted. Exactly.
You take it for granted. I experienced that too. I remember when I came to the United States, and the cell phone, after a couple of years or 3 years, the cell phone, T-Mobile, I think, no, it was Sprint. This was a Sprint. That giant phone came out. And I said, wow, now you don't need a cord there. You don't need a pager. You don't need like a phone booth to go and call. It was amazing. And, the technology was so fast, like growing rapidly, so fast. And then we have to adapt. I have to adapt. But as you said, I didn't have a lot of stuff there. Like, our local gym was a small gym. We didn't have that much equipment. And I came here, went to Gold's Gym. I said, oh, wow. And I started working out, being there every day. And I think the environment and what is in it, it really helped us a lot 100%. To achieve what we want. But again, as I said earlier, it's really goes back to us. Who we are, what we need, and where we're going to go. Did you know when you came here, and you were pretty young, did you know what you want to do when you came here, or you just figured it out as you went?
No, actually, so my story goes back. I was born into a family that, we didn't have struggles, quote unquote. So I was a comfortable kid. I always thought that my parents will supply for me.
Hey, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck with that philosophy here.
Exactly. So growing up, I just didn't care. I was like, yeah, we have a store, we have a business, everything is going. I'll probably just take over and I'll be fine. So going through high school, and everybody was worried about, oh my God, what kind of courses I'm going to take, who am I going to become, this and this. Like, this was like 1 year in, 1 year out, because I was already set that I'm good. Turns out, when I go back home, things don't really play out the way I want them to do. So, because in Persian families, you have the bigger people, like the older people in the family, they're the leaders, right? So you kind of like, and it's a dictatorship, not a democracy. You follow what
it is. It's my way or highway.
Exactly. So, as a kid who experienced the freedom over here, I just wasn't living up to it. So, and I think some way or another, I was wise enough to know that, okay, um, like you're saying, I'm gonna be responsible for my future, and I will decide. And I also I was lucky that I did have the opportunity to come to America. So, um, I remember 2 weeks before I packed my stuff, 2 weeks before my flight, that I got my flight, when I told my dad that I'm gonna leave, we were on a kitchen table having lunch as a family. He nodded his head like, "Yeah, right. Yeah, you'll be back. You can't make it." Like that was his reaction.
You really thought that you're not gonna make it here because you were always being provided with the shelter, and the
Provided
food, and everything
Yeah,
else.
and I was a troubled kid. I mean, I worked, but I also was a lot of trouble. Um, just out with friends 24/7, partying a lot, traveling a lot. And my dad was just thinking that, yeah, I'll be that. I probably I'm too comfortable and lazy to actually go and take charge of my life. And as Persian says, like, pull out my rug out of the water. So, yeah, man. And so the story goes, I landed in Budapest, Hungary. One of my friends lives over there, and he was a big influence. Just he told me one day, was like, yeah, just come hang out with me. Like, you'll see what's going on over there. I was like, shit. I mean, if you say that, I probably can too. So I go over there to do some sort of work in remodeling, because that's what we did back in Iran. And my major was architecture, and then was there for 3 months. Did look at different opportunities, and then my mind was like, okay, you have that bigger opportunity in America, so you should take off. So I took off.
And coming from there here, and you were a party boy, and then you came here, and you didn't have the father to tell you what to do, all that stuff. How did you manage yourself to be a person you are today? Because you did a big change. To be honest with you, you kind of shifted it.
That's what my family says too.
Yeah, you shifted it. That's what you told me that. And how did you do that shift? Because okay, you come into a society that everything is there. You're a party boy, go to the bar, do everything else, and you can go as far as you want to go. But in one point, did you decide, no, that's not the game I want to play. I really want to focus on my mental health. I want to focus on this and that. What happened?
It's funny you say that. You asked that because sometimes I think it was my not a gift, but okay. So let me rephrase this. So anytime when I was a party boy, anytime I did something, right, smoked, drank, sedated myself. At first, it was fun, right? You're a kid. You're just like, oh yeah, this is fun. I'm living life, this and that. But after it becomes consistent part of your life, then the guilt grew. There was this voice in my head anytime that I got drunk, anytime that I got high, in my head, telling me that this is not right. Telling me that this is not where you're supposed to be, and how much more do you want to continue this? So the feeling was guilt. Like, imagine you keep doing the things that used to make you happy, and just the guilt got bigger and bigger and bigger every time. That one day I decided, enough is enough. I'm going to change my environment. There had been multiple times that I decided to stop, but because of my surroundings, friends, I gave up. They knocked me down. I wasn't strong enough to stand and stand on what I wanted to do. Like, always a friend will influence me after 30 days, after 35 days, and I will give up. So, what's the next best option? Environment. We're going to change that. So, I decided to change my environment by coming over here, and I made some laws for myself that because I wasn't making any more money, I wasn't making any money, so I only had a limited amount of resources in my pocket. And my intelligence told me that, all right, we're not going to spend this limited amount on shit that's going to fuck you up. Beer, alcohol, cigarettes. No, you're not spending that. So that was one part. And then also, when I landed back here, I have a cousin in Pennsylvania he was just a straight dude from the get-go. Never drank, never smoked, wasn't interested into it. It just wasn't part of his identity.
Clean cut.
Clean cut DNA. And he was like that. I was like, you know what? And I couldn't do it in front of him. So I went and I stayed with him for a long period of time until the habit was gone. The desire was gone. And after 4 months, I was a clean boy. Pretty much.
Basically, you change your environment.
Listen to the voice in my head, and I changed my environment, yes.
But, we talked about this before, and a lot of people that are listening to this or watching, they don't understand that the environment, in my opinion, is a big thing.
I say it's always a second influence.
Yeah.
First is you, the second is the
like an
sure.
environment that you put yourself in an environment that doesn't help you or doesn't help you to grow, it's going to kill you.
Sure.
And, the people you hang around with and, who you talk to, all that, it all comes together and eventually will destroy you.
Sure. There's always, there's a potential of three environments. It's either negative, neutral, or positive. Neutral doesn't happen that much, that you have like a place and people that are always going to be neutral. They're always going to be either positive or negative, and one emotion is definitely dominant every time. So yeah, if you're constantly putting yourself in a negative environment, then that's contagious. You catch up onto it.
I experienced that, with a bad environment, and I had to pull myself out of it because it was really draining. It really sucks the energy out of you. And you, like me, you believe the good energy and the positive and negative energy like the two sides of the magnets.
100%.
I have seen people that as soon as I contact with them, I can feel that energy, positive or negative.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. Maybe why some people stick with the negative energy, or they just stay in that environment. Why is that? What do you think?
What? Well,
It's just self-confidence.
I don't think
No
it's,
other choices.
Well, the choice is always there. I think there's multiple different factors, right? But I think, in my opinion, the biggest thing is ignorance, not knowing, or not listening to what you already know, which is also ignorance. And after a while, it becomes part of your conditioning. Like, that's just the way things are, and you just accept it, and unconsciously you just go through that. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're a kid born into a negative family. Your mom is negative, your dad is negative. So basically, up until 6-7 years old, everything that you do experience is negative. So your conditioning, your perception towards things are going to be negative. So, no judgment, a lot of people are in that bucket. It's the biggest bucket that we have. And, well, occasionally people do snap out of it, which the key to getting out of it is knowledge or enlighten, like just shedding light. It's like darkness and shedding light onto it, which comes from truth and wisdom. So I think it's just people. It's not only like one thing. It's the collective of things, which I'm going to call it information. They don't have the right information. Like if you have the right information, why would you stay in a negative state? You probably don't.
You know, we do have enough resources to get the right information. Like one of the things that as a human we don't want to do, I think, is we just don't want to do, because we always take a easy way out. We
Sure.
always feel so comfortable in our comfort zone. Like, you know, you and I, you suggested that you should start, Rami, working out again. And I said, okay. And I was going in the afternoon, and you offered me to go with you in the morning. And I was not a morning guy. You know, I'm a night owl. And it was very hard for me to change the habit. But as you know, everybody says is it 21 days to change the habit, or, you know, something like
They're
that.
different thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I give it a shot, and now I'm cool. I like
You
it.
can't think of it in a different way.
No,
like, that's
I
the way you
can't.
have to go to the gym now.
Yeah, exactly. That I go to the gym 6:30, get up, do all that stuff. We done with it by like 8:39, and then start work, and it's different feeling. I think stepping out of your comfort zone or doing things, that's the hardest thing to do. But after that, you should be okay.
Yeah.
But we don't do it because we don't want to feel the pain.
Yes.
Every success comes with some pain.
100%.
Every success. You know, I've washed dishes. I tell everybody. I've served in the restaurant. I did this. I did that. But it was painful. Trust me. It was painful to riding my bike like 5 miles to get to my work and ride it back. It was tough, but I did it. It wasn't any other option. But there is no glory without the pain.
100%.
And we're still facing it. It was a different pain, of course. But for us as an immigrant, we come here, as you said earlier, we see the opportunity and we take it. We grab it, bite it, horn, and then we just do it. That's what a lot of immigrants are here are successful. Look at all these tech CEOs.
Yeah.
Look at all these people that they are in tech, they're in real estate. Because when you understand the value of what you can have and what you can do with what you have, it's totally is different. That's what we practice gratitude. Really.
Yeah.
Every day I get up, and you just forced that a couple of days ago against and say you should be grateful, and say, yeah, I'm grateful. We should be grateful for what we have. Really, for me, it's like maybe a lot of people that listen to watch it say, no, I'm okay, but we all should be grateful for what we have, not what we are going to have. But if you're grateful for what you have, you will have what you going after in the future.
Yeah.
Are you grateful?
100%. It's
How
like
you practice gratitude?
gratitude. I want to say nowadays it's been discipline. Like I've disciplined myself to practice gratitude. And I want to piggyback, going back to like the first part of your conversation. You talked about pain, and then also how me and you, specifically you, were able to change where you were into where you are right now, and it's gonna all come back full circle. So, what happened between me and you, specifically for you, was I communicated a truth to you, like a truth of like this, a principle, a truth of this principle, which if you go to the gym in the morning, you get your blood pumping, good emotions and good hormones are going to be in your body, so therefore you feel better. During the day, you become more productive, and that's a law. It doesn't matter how you are or who you are, the law will work the same for everybody. So you could have gone to the gym in the mornings without knowing that, and no one mentioning it, and you would just not pay attention to it, and then after a while be like, I'm just going to go to the gym later in the day. But because the truth was communicated to you and your wisdom grabbed it, now you're one step wiser in that specific field. You can never go back. The thing with wisdom is like cooking. Like, let's say when a potato is baked, you can't unbake it.
No, you're right.
It's already there, right? So now moving one step forward to the pain, which I think it's a very interesting conversation. I personally, specifically in this field, grew about a year ago, thanks to a good mentor. So I think my opinion about pain is how we perceive pain. Pain has always been something that when it
Suffering is happening.
right, when it's brought up, everybody tries to distance and avoid, like, oh my God, I'm gonna get hurt, right? It's like a scary thing that everybody's trying to avoid. But again, the truth with pain is the fact that every growth requires pain. Like, if there's no pain, there's no gain. That's, again,
You're absolutely right.
that's a truth, and that's a law. So if you accept that as a truth, then if your desire is growth, then you expect some pain. And it's not going to be as painful. You just experience it as just an emotion. Like when you go to the gym and like you're on the last rep and your that muscle is hurting right now. So you have two ways to look at it, right? Crap, it's pain. I'm going to suffer. Who wants that? No one. But then if you actually accept this truth that this is the first step before I can grow, they tie together, then you welcome pain with a little bit more open arms. Not in only gym, but in every areas of your life. Like you were last week, I saw you were setting up that software, Notion, and it was a new thing for
It was painful.
I could see your pain from across the room. But after you set it up, now you have a system built that could work forever.
Yep.
Right? So that was necessary for that.
We're always avoiding it, me too sometimes, I avoid it, but I know if we don't avoid it, we're going to get in a better place.
Yeah.
And by doing it. But the problem is most of us, we don't want to do. We know what is a recipe. We don't want to do.
Yeah, it's because we look at it as a suffering, not as a stepping stone to your growth. And everybody wants to grow. Like I don't think you can go and anyone ask, do you want to grow? And they say no.
And I think avoiding that pain, it goes all back to how we perceive it in our mind.
There you go, 100%.
Like our mindset. And now we're going to shift the conversation to a little bit to mindset, which is our favorite subject, everything we talk. That I know the mindset of individuals are so important to shaping their future.
100%.
And it's not something like tangible. It's not something that you can say. It's a practice. It's not something that you can buy or inject it. It's a practice.
Mm-hmm. Daily change.
Day over, like every day you got to practice. I practice that. I always tell myself that everything's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Having a good mindset, I think, is a solution to a lot of stuff.
100%.
Being positive is different than having a solid mindset. Like if something is not working or did not work, I said, it's okay. At least I learned something from it.
Mm-hmm.
I create my mindset that's not a failure. You lost, you learn something. Like in the football game, in anything, in any sports, you lose. You gotta lose to win. You gotta
100%.
lose to gain.
Yeah.
And our mindset is, I think, is the most valuable assets that we have. Really, it can save us.
Hopefully it is an asset, because sometimes mindset is not an asset for some people because the way it's
How?
structured. Well, it's like the set of beliefs, right? Their own set of beliefs is working against them. And so I want to explain this in like the way I've learned, and I like to simplify stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like your mind is like a slime. You've seen those slimes when you can shape them the way you want. So the mind is like that as well. It's in your hands. You just have to understand how it is, how it works, different parts, and the knowledge and information is out there, right? So this is something that I recently learned that it was like a wake-up call for me when it comes about the mind itself. I think we're going to have to know the mind first before we can take charge of the mindset. So for the longest time, me personally, as I'm thinking probably most of the people do think the same too, we think that mind exists in our brain and it's here. This is where your mind is. But the truth is, this is just the sender and receiver of the mind. Mind exists outside of the body. With your brain, this it's like an antenna that gathers
just absorb.
information. Yes, it absorbs it and it sends it, right? So a belief that you have at all times, if you believe that, because this is what they say, like belief and thinking, right? If you have a belief, you're 100% at all times you are sending that to the universe, and you're receiving the same signals.
Okay,
It's
basically
like,
what you're
like
telling me,
that.
what you put out is what you get.
Vice versa. Exactly. Well, other circumstances do have control also. You receive them as well, but you can't really control them. They just exist. The only thing that you can control is this. So you are sending those exact signals out to the universe as well. Hence, you experience them too. So tying this back to the mindset, so let's say if someone's mindset is poor, negative, trouble is happening for me, things happen left and right in a bad and negative way, and that's the things that you constantly repeat here, that's what you're sending, that's your vibration, and at the same time, that's what you receive. The universe
I have
rushes
seen
it.
that I talked to the friends that actually one of them said, I am sick and tired of being positive because I don't get anything. I said, you just say it. You're sick and tired of being positive. Basically,
You're sick and tired. You're not positive.
you're not positive. That's what a lot of people don't understand. That when you're gonna really attract good things, you're really gonna be. It's not just being a positive; it's believing it.
Right. You have to be it.
You have to be it.
Right.
Thank you. You have to be it, and that's so important. Like, if you really want to successful, you have to feel it.
Yeah.
You have to be it.
Exactly.
When you walk in the room, and you have to feel like you own the room.
Right.
When you speak, you got to say that you believe what you're saying, you know it. Then it will become a reality.
Exactly. Those words you said: feelings, emotions, being, what you speak, and then your behaviors. These are the four things that completes the cycle of being. And what most people fall short is because they think, oh, now that I got it, like I just thought about it, then I'm good. No, this is a ongoing cycle in your life. Like, you're going to have, like, whoever you want to become, you're going to have to speak it. You're going to have to feel it. You have to act it so that you be it. Tomorrow, all over again. Next day, all over again. Next month, all over again. And it's just like a constant work, just like going to the gym. You can go to the gym for the next year, become jacked, you stop. After 6 months, you're back in the first space, first square.
But you know, I have a friend. And I dearly love, and he always says that I'm the best. I'm the best.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about. I'm the best. I'm the best. Well, you know, I kind of study that seriously.
Okay.
Seriously, that as a human behavior.
Uh-huh.
He says it's the best,
Uh-huh.
and sometimes he knows it's not. But that self belief that he's got make him successful.
Yeah.
When you say I am the best, because you're telling yourself you can do it,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you put that out there, you attract.
Uh-huh.
And then you will be the best. Because some people, they think I'm the best being a cocky. It's just, that's
Right.
different thing, you know.
Right.
But when you say that with the self-confidence, and then you get it back, the universe will give it back to you.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah. 100%. I recently just discovered the power of words. I kind of thought I
so
always knew
important.
it, but
So important. man.
it's different. And the other day I shared this this little verse of the scripture, and the same exact friend was kind of like, he kind of made a comment about it, but it goes like this: in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Now, in a book that I read this, which is, I recommend everybody to listen to this if you want to grow in your life. It's called Feel Free to Prosper, and it's such a profound book. It changed my life. It will change anybody's life if they actually devote.
Do they
listen to
have
it.
the audiobook too?
Yeah, it's on Audible by Marilyn Janae. This is a very popular book. She substituted the word God because it's a spiritual teaching, and she's like, okay, even if you don't believe in God, let me just rephrase this and substitute the word God with law. So it goes, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with law, and the Word was law. So it's your words that really, really determine where you're going to end up. Because for something that you have to say, you're going to have to think it. In most states, you have to believe it. And once those three are there, you do it enough, your feelings will follow naturally. So it's really important. Even if you don't believe it, sometimes you'll see people like, this is like a very, very interesting thing that I also recently learned. If you don't really believe in something that you're saying and you're just saying it, your emotional body, without you controlling it, disagrees. So you could say something along the lines of like this: I am the best. You are saying you're the best, but your head is shaking no. And you will see that in people. If you want to call BS on somebody, pay attention next time. If they're telling something to you and their head is shaking no, then within inside, because body has its own language. Because here's the thing, like right now, me and you are having a conversation, right? You're talking to me, but then also at the same time, you're talking to yourself. So as everybody else. That's just the way human beings, like, that's how we operate. So a lot of times people are telling you something, but inside they're telling themselves something else.
Which is they not believing it.
Exactly. And
That's
their
how
body shows it.
their body shows.
Yeah. They'd be like, I'm the best.
That's why now understand when Tony Robbins, he says something very interesting. He always says that, motion comes from emotions.
Sure.
The way you think is the way you act. Now, I think that would relate to what you just said, that what emotion goes through our mind and the body, we're going to put it back through our, emotions. We're going to put it back to our emotion, which is how we act.
Yes. And your emotions have they have a more impactful vibration. Like I'm a real estate agent, right? If I don't feel good when I'm in an open house, I can feel customers feel distanced. But if I'm like on a positive vibe, I feel like they want to talk to me.
Because you put that energy out.
Exactly. Like I've tried it. I've used different words, like different pitches, excited, this, that. Nothing has the impact of my internal state and vibe. That's just like a magnet without them even realizing it. They just walk to me.
Basically, your internal state and how you carry yourself, not the fake, be you, and what you believe is going to affect other people around you.
100%.
That's what a lot of relationship doesn't work, because they pretend to be somebody else while we're their partner or the wife or the husband, because they're not happy. If you're not happy, just don't pretend to be happy. Just say it's not going to work and do something else.
Yep.
Because as you said, that's very important, to feel yourself as who you are.
Exactly. And that's why, like, so women, they're very a lot higher in their emotional intelligence than men. That's why, like, you see a lot of people, like, men try to convince somebody with their words, with the girl, but girls don't operate like that. They have to feel you and feel the truth inside of you. A lot of guys bullshit, and girls, without not logically but emotionally, they call bullshit on it. That's why they don't believe you.
Because they feel it.
They feel it. Yeah. You logically are convincing them, but they don't go by logic.
And then when
go
they
by their
feel
feelings.
it, then you're good, because they said, okay, this guy is a genuine.
Exactly. Yep. So you're both, your intelligence, your head and your heart has to agree for them to feel good.
What do you do to practice a good mindset?
Mindset? Well, the first thing is the gym that we go together. Like, I've tried it, meditation, journaling, nothing. When you wake up in the morning, nothing can change that but the physical activity. So physical activity is like the prime of the process. After that is some words of acknowledgement to my surroundings, or just writing down my gratitude journal. And I'm a creative person, so I have to see internally what I'm really am grateful for, and I'll write it. And that puts me in the next better step. And so basically, I'll be on a good mindset for the day, pretty much.
You know, we have a kind of, age gaps, like two different, not generations, but a couple of different generations. But my advice is a little bit different for the younger generation that they're listening, they're watching this, and but yours is different too.
Sure.
What kind of advice you have for the young generation that they really want to reach the happiness and they're gonna be successful? Is there any recipe, or just what is it? What you suggest? You went through it.
Well,
You're still working it.
yes, still working. I still have to attend it every day. I'd say probably the biggest principle that will put anybody, regardless of your age or where you are in life, is the principle of being teachable. And what do I mean by that? Remember, we talked about like wisdom and information, right? It doesn't matter what the information is, what the knowledge is. If you have a wall for accepting information, whether true or false, you will be stuck where you are. So the very, 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 very first principle, regardless of your age, whatever, you have to be teachable and open to change. You might have to look, that might be your practice. If you find yourself since you graduated from college, you haven't taken any shit from anybody else anymore, and you thought always you were right and you knew everything, whether out of ignorance or ego, the truth is you're gonna stay stuck where you are. And the cool thing about the laws of the universe and the principle, they work the same with no judgment, equally for everybody.
That's actually absolutely true. But if you guys are listening, watching this, as Mehrshad said, as I went through life, he went through life, the first thing that you got to do, just be honest with yourself, know who you are and what you're going after and how you're going to get there. And there's a lot of people out there that you can ask for help. They can really help you. If you like this show, you like what we said, you have any question, just leave us a comment, share it, let us know, and then I personally will get back to you and answer your question. Until next time, you have a wonderful day.